Hello class, this is Stephen Quigley from Comm, and today we're going to be talking about designing a training manual in Adobe XD. So Adobe XD is super easy to use, super easy to learn, and it's a prototyping tool. It's not an authoring tool. It's not something that you can publish something out for public use. It's something that you can test. You can share an idea with other people and get feedback on that idea very easily. So I'm going to show you the app that I designed, and that I could potentially share with a buyer, or maybe my company, whatever that might be, whoever my audience might be. In this case, my students in my class, right? The app that I've developed, it's a training manual. It's called the Business Memo app. It says you need to write a business memo. Let's write it together. Okay, so the user can click on next. You have something to say. Don't say too much, because remember, nobody really wants to read business writing or Comm writing. So we need to make it super simple and brief and definitely relevant. Next. Okay, in your first paragraph, you should strike a positive tone, identify with your reader, put yourself in their shoes, make your audience feel valued and responsible, and tell your reader what you want. Okay, got it? Or no, I'm angry. Got it is going to send them to a page that's going to reinforce basically this message that, oh, it's great that you understand that you need to. And the no angry is going to send them to another page for remediation before they can move on in their memo. So I'm going to show you how this kind of lays out what Adobe XD looks like, and then I'm going to show you how to get started, if that makes sense. So before I go into this totally, I'm going to just review where we are on the week and the assignments on the syllabus. So this is the assignment that we're talking. Let's go back to Adobe XD, and I'm going to show you basically what I've done here. Okay, so I've laid out my app from page to page, and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. And I'm in the design mode. When I'm in the design mode, I can change things in my app. Like I said, I wanted to change this to the business writing app. I can do that. Let me do that real quick. The business memo writing app. I can do all my editing here. And then I can prototype it. Okay, so now that I've got all my design all set up how I want it, right? I'm gonna move into my prototype. Okay, and the prototype kind of shows how these pages all connect together. Okay, so I'm gonna be using wireframes. Okay, and that's the design term that's used to show how different pages link together. So my audience will click on next, and the mappings are going to lead them to this next page, right? They'll come on this page, they'll click next, it'll take them to the next page. Here, we've got that fork in the road, right? So if they click got it, it moves them to this. Okay, that's great. You understand what needs to happen in memo writing, or no, I'm angry. And this is the remediation page. Okay, I'm asking you to build out 7 to 8 pages of content, an app basically that's also serves as a training manual. I don't want to limit what you actually make in your app/training manual. You can work this however you want, right? That's the whole point. Design something cool. We're going to test it out, and we're going to share our findings. Okay, that's what we're basically doing in these 2 assignments. Before I show you how to design in Adobe XD, I wanted to take you to some of the theory that I introduced earlier in this course, so that we can use this theory to approach our methods, right? Working in XD, the tools that we use, and also how we use those tools to make something. Theory is the way of seeing, methods are our tools, and our practices are what happen when we put those things together. It's what we make. Okay, so remember what Don Norman said about good design. It needs to make it easy to determine what actions are possible at a moment, right? We're going to give them some design constraints. Constraints are good. It's places where they can't go. But we also need affordances. They need to know, because we made things visible, that there are possibilities, right? So we need to make sure if we are creating some sort of link, that it's clear that what we're is on the page before the user is a link, that it's something to be clicked on, right? So we need to think about that in a minute. So not only do things need to be clear, your user should also understand whether they're making smart choices, bad choices. It should be clear why they're ending up where they're ending up, right? So I made a good choice and I'm aware of that, or I made a bad choice and I need to change my thinking if I'm going to navigate this tool. It should also follow natural mappings between intentions, the required actions, between actions and resulting effect, right? So you click a button, it should take you somewhere. And again, understanding that current state, okay, where are you as a user is super duper important, okay? So let's go back to Adobe XD and let's see how I did this, okay? So I'm gonna create new and design, prototype, and share. Great. All right, so it's super easy. I'm gonna be designing for an iPhone. I love designing for mobile phones, designing something that's mobile ready. Why? Because everybody's got a mobile phone, right? So pretty generic setup here. You know how to learn technology. That's something we were really talking about in this class. And the first thing that you need to do when you see something, a new tool, is think about what you already know, right? So I'm sure a lot of these tools are going to look super familiar to you. Let's play around with it. All right, that's the next step, that we're playful, right? We've got some time to design and that we are having fun with it, right? Design should be fun. I've created a box and now I'm going to play around with the fill. Let's see here. I can make it black. I could make it red if I want to. Okay, I can do whatever I want. I can add a border if I want to. Let's do black, and I can increase that border however I want, okay? So next I'm gonna add some text. So remember, in some Adobe products anyways, you draw out your text where you want your text to go, right? So we'll call this your app. All right, now I need to play with my font size. Let's do that, probably right here. And I need to change my fill color because that's hard to see. And voila, it's that easy. Let's center it. And we're ready to go, okay? The next thing that we need to do is to create some sort of button that's gonna link our user to our next page, right? So I'm just gonna use that classic next. And I'm going to draw a box around it because, again, we need to have a, we need to make it clear for our user so that they understand where we're going in this project. So I'm going to use black fill, but then I'm going to take this percentage down to about 10. And that's how you get that nice background. So they're going to, again, know that this is a button that they click on. I'm going to adjust this here. And if I want to round my corners, okay, I can do that as well. Really easily. All right. Now if I want to create pages that I link to, this is super easy too. All I need to do is click on this artboard button and it gets me all set up here. I'm going to go to where I want it and boom, I can build out all my pages. It's that easy. When we're designing, we want to use repetition so that our user is not freaked out when they go from one page to the next. We want to have some consistency from page to page. So I'm going to copy this here and just move this content from page to page, just like so. All right, if you watch Adobe XD videos, you're going to see that there's a much faster way to do this. I'm just kind of showing you how I would lay it out. Again, I can achieve that consistency, that repetition in my design very easily using these guides, okay, to lay out my text. All right, remember, if I want these to set up how these buttons are going to actually work, I go to prototype and I can click on that button and I can drag it wherever I want it to go, okay? So this is a nice, easy way to stage So this is a nice, easy way to add wireframes to design, to take your user from one place to the next, right? So once I have my prototype done, again, I can test it if I want to. I can also share it with an audience. Okay, I can hit publish prototype and I can copy that link. Make sure that all your work is saved before you do that. Okay, once you have your working prototype all built out, your next step is going to be to build a usability study tool, a set of questions that you're going to use, just 5 or 6 questions, to give to your audience to get feedback. I've given you the basics for building a prototype in Adobe XD. Please, please, please seek out other affinity spaces online, places like YouTube and chat boards, where you're going to learn more about what is possible in Adobe XD. I look forward to seeing your prototypes, and you'll be able to share them in the discussion section down below. Please also comment on what you learned from this process of designing in Adobe XD. Okay, share that information with other people, what you learned, where you found success, and the things that are challenging you in this program. Thank you so much.